measures are intended to ensure the preservation of.
Good morning, everyone. As you may have seen on Twitter, I was almost live tweeting a hearing between before the International Court of Justice between India and Pakistan regarding consular relations. And that was a lot of fun. It was actually quite short. And today at noon, it's Thursday now, at noon today, the International Court of Justice will render its decision on provisional measures. Let's see what they do. You can read on my site, as I said on Twitter, more background on the consular relations issue, not only between India and Pakistan, but also the cases that came before it, namely between the US and Paraguay, Germany, and Mexico. The US is having a bit of a problem with consular relations and the death penalty in particular. Those two combined. Go read on my site if you're interested. So Monday, I usually work out with Simone and a trainer, and it was a great session. But in the afternoon, I decided, because of the weather, well, let's see how it works if I do a bike ride after that. And it went perfectly. It was great. No muscle aches from the workout because of the bike ride, I think. So that was great. On Tuesday, however, I also wanted to get out on the bike, but I didn't have much time. So I went on the trainer, had a 40-minute session. And I think that actually broke the camel's back yesterday, because yesterday it was really, really hot. And I did the sports day in the morning. And in the afternoon I was just exhausted, and I was feeling almost ill, also because of the heat. But oh well. Today I'm feeling fine. I had a better night's rest because I haven't been sleeping on time lately either. But I think I'm back on track today. These past days, actually I haven't been writing much because we're really busy now with the move to New York. We nailed down an apartment in New York. We're very excited about that because it's also in the right school zone. So I've notified the school that we're coming. Although enrollment cannot be guaranteed, you have to actually go there physically with the kids. And we're supposed to do that in June, enroll them, but we have been assured that there will be a spot for our kids, so we can actually enroll in the summer when we arrive, or even towards the end of the summer in August, at the end of August. A little bit nervous about that. Another thing that I've been researching is the immunization, which is interesting. Of course, all the kids have health records and the immunization records, and it turns out that they need an immunization record for the chickenpox. We don't do vaccinations, immunization for chickenpox here in the Netherlands. You just have it, and then after that you're immune. So now our poor kids have to get their blood drawn, get their blood analyzed, and get some kind of document saying that they've had the chickenpox. And our youngest also has to have, I think, injections for immunizations for hepatitis B, which our oldest daughter does have. And normally we don't immunize for hepatitis B either, I think. But we went on a trip to Turkey before the youngest one was born, and so she had to have hepatitis B injections for that. But yeah, the youngest one still has to do it. And things are getting really tense now. We're planning goodbye parties. We have renters for our house. Yeah, it's all coming together, but it's getting really short. It's like 2 months now. Yeah. Wow.
Three hours later.
Yep. So I just had a blast on Twitter about India and Pakistan. Go to my Twitter feed. Pakistani journalists following. Cool. I almost crashed there. Holding up this phone. Jesus. Oh well. Oh, here we go. Okay. That was interesting. So today at noon, the International Court of Justice issued a binding legal order in the case between India and Pakistan. A binding order on provisional measures. As you can see on my site and on my Twitter feed by now, India was hauling Pakistan before the International Court of Justice because Pakistan is holding an Indian national on charges of spying and is not allowing India to send over a consular officer to assist this Indian national in his legal proceedings, as both countries are obliged to do under the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. And because this Indian national is under a death sentence, India requested the International Court of Justice to issue provisional measures to the effect of instituting a stay on the execution of this Indian national. Now this case is to a certain extent pretty straightforward. So here's the thing. In today's order, the court actually did indicate provisional measures to the effect that Pakistan had to assure that this Indian national would not be executed before the court can decide the entire case. This is not unexpected. Now, I've had some interesting and great interactions on Twitter, mainly from Pakistanis actually, and Pakistani journalists asking me whether it's binding, what happens now, and so on and so forth. And I had to dispel a few myths, and there was some who said, well, the ICJ is just an advisory body, and of course that's not true at all. But there is a weak side to the International Court of Justice's practices, and namely that of enforcement, or how far the court will go and to tell a state what to do. Now, in these previous cases involving the United States on consular relations, the court just said the United States has to give effect to the provisions of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. It doesn't tell the state, in this case the United States, how to actually give effect to these obligations. The court will stop at the water's edge and say, well, and basically saying, well, it is within your purview, within your sovereign rights to determine how you set up your criminal proceedings, as long as there is room for these international rights of the individual as well as of the state to have consular access and consular notification. That is a weak spot in itself. And the question will always be, well, has the state in question done enough to take into account those obligations? And I've also seen some comments saying, well, Pakistan will just execute the Indian national and there will be no consequences. Well, there will be at least one consequence. Pakistan will be held responsible for violating international law, namely the order on provisional measures as indicated by the International Court of Justice. Now, the proceedings before the court will take probably 2 to 3 years. In the meantime, if all goes well in terms of if all international rules are followed, this Indian national will not be executed until the case is over.